Remarkable how the human mind can outmaneuver the heart, isn't it? Today, we delve into that subtle chess match within us in a piece titled, Signs an Avoidant is Intellectually Bypassing Their Emotions and How to Stop. Yes, we're about to explore that curious habit of using clever thoughts to dodge genuine feelings and consider how one might finally step off this well-worn path. I recall a moment, many years ago, sitting by the garden with a friend who used to place the most extraordinary emphasis on logic. He would prattle on about the theories of psychology, attachment styles, and so on, with an air of enviable confidence. Yet behind those theories, you could sense a most curious vacancy, an unacknowledged longing, and an unresolved ache. This is exactly the phenomenon we're peering at. The cunning maneuver of naming, defining, or philosophizing about feelings as a way to avoid actually experiencing them. You see, for those leaning toward an avoidant attachment style, this strategy is exquisitely tempting. After all, knowledge is a fortress. Read, label, understand, and you may think you've done the hard work of processing your old wounds. But ironically, that fortress can become a maze, leading you round and round without any real release. So let's unmask 5 signs that reveal someone might be intellectually bypassing their emotions, and then consider some ways to pivot toward healing. 1. Immediate exoneration of caregivers. Picture a child who grew up with a parent who, while well-meaning, was distant or unpredictable. When that child becomes an adult, they might say, "I understand why my mother was like that. Her mother left her, and she never recovered. So there's no reason for me to be upset." Such understanding can be a brilliant stroke of compassion, but at times this leap to all is forgiven bypasses the real sting of what happened in childhood. Knowing the reasons for someone's behavior may calm the logical mind, yet the heart remains bruised by events that once caused genuine hurt. If you find yourself describing your childhood or relationships with a breezy shrug, "I know they meant well, so I'm not angry," pause a moment. Beneath that phrase, there may be sadness, confusion, or resentment that was never allowed to emerge. To truly process it, one must feel it, even if no one intended to cause harm. A wound can fester in the body long after the mind has declared, "All is understood." 2. Stoicism in the midst of emotional turmoil. There's a story I like to recall. I once worked with a remarkably poised actor, one of the calmest people you'd ever meet, even under enormous pressure on set. One day, a dreadful confrontation occurred. Emotions flared among cast and crew like fireworks, but our actor friend stood like a marble statue, face serene as a cat in sunshine. Later that evening, over a glass of something suitably strong, he confided he felt absolutely nothing in the heat of that blow-up. Nothing at all. For an avoidant type, detachment is a survival strategy learned long ago. A child in a tense environment works out the patterns. If I stay quiet, focus on the sequence of triggers, and respond logically, I'll dodge the worst of it. As an adult, that fine-tuned skill looks like composure, and in certain moments, it's an admirable trait. But Stoicism can flatten the emotional register, leaving the individual numb to signals that, in truth, are essential. Anger alerts us to set boundaries. Sorrow reminds us of what we value. Being blank in conflict can mean missing vital information your body is trying to convey. The work, then, is to recognize, I'm withdrawing into logic. My chest feels tight. My limbs feel chilled. Something's going on that I'm not letting myself feel. Developing present moment awareness of these sensations is the first step toward a more secure connection, both with ourselves and with others. 3. Believing naming emotions equals processing them. Many people say, well, I know I was traumatized at 14 when I changed schools, so that's sorted. But is it? Naming a trauma is like pointing out that you have an old trunk in your attic, one filled with dusty trinkets, perhaps even some precious heirlooms. Simply declaring it exists doesn't change the fact that it's still locked away, untouched, and occasionally rattling in the night. For those with avoidant tendencies, the mind can decide, aha, I can name my sadness. Job done. Meanwhile, the body might still be holding on to tension, heartbreak, or buried anger. True processing unfolds when we recognize how past harm surfaces in present life. An unexpected flash of panic, a wave of depression, an inability to trust others deeply. And instead of turning away or coldly labeling it, we invite the feeling in. Give it room to breathe. Let it speak its message. A safe container such as a skilled therapist, a supportive group, or a deeply reflective practice can help one descend from the mind into the body. 4. Dismissing feelings when there's no logical reason. Have you ever woken up, felt inexplicably blue, then promptly told yourself, this is nonsense, I have no reason to be sad. Let's get on with it. That is a prime example. For the avoidant intellect, everything must have an identifiable cause and effect. When none is found, the feeling is discarded. Yet emotions aren't always neat. Sometimes we hold unresolved grief for things we scarcely remember or fully understood at the time. Childhood separations, fleeting humiliations, moments of heartbreak or disappointment. Our minds can't always produce a tidy explanation, but the heart remembers. The remedy is to practice radical acceptance. I feel what I feel, and it doesn't need to justify itself to me. By giving an emotion room to linger, you allow deeper memories and insights to rise. More often than not, an explanation emerges, sometimes from the corners of memory or subtle triggers in daily life. But that explanation arrives only after the feeling has been given permission to exist. 5. Seeking psychological theory as a comfort blanket. Now, a bit of paradox. If you adore reading about attachment styles, if you devour articles on defense mechanisms and recite all the key terms, you might be soothing yourself through knowledge. Knowledge is splendid. It can be a lifeboat. We're fascinated. We read, we understand. But for avoidance, this can be a slick method of self-soothing. If I can just gather enough insight, label every wound, then I'll be fine. It lulls the system with an illusion of safety, distracting from the raw, unfiltered hurt lurking underneath. Indeed, knowledge and analysis are glorious tools. They help us stand outside ourselves and see patterns, but they must be coupled with embodied practice. Those moments when you do more than label the wave of anger or sadness. You let it break in the chest and recede in its own time. This is, in essence, the difference between studying a recipe and actually cooking the dish. The first is intellectual, the second is a tangible experience. How to transition to feeling instead of evading. Notice your body. When tension creeps in, clenched jaw, shallow breathing, pause. Instead of searching for a reason, ask yourself, what if I just feel this and see where it leads? Welcome emotions without judgment. If you find yourself sad or angry for no reason, practice letting it stay. Let it float there. Observe if memories, images, or insights percolate when you honor the sensation rather than dismiss it. Seek environments that support embodiment, somatically informed therapy, certain mindfulness groups, or even expressive arts can provide structure to safely experience feelings. If it feels overwhelming, remember you don't have to do it in isolation. Balance understanding with experiencing. By all means, continue to read about and discuss psychological concepts, but complement that curiosity by grounding yourself in your physical and emotional reality. Both sides are needed. Accept that healing takes time. One does not dismantle an iron fortress overnight. The alternative, however, is to be trapped within it indefinitely. Each step of presence, honesty, and willingness to feel chisels away at the old walls. With that, reflect on the possibility that you do not have to live life from behind thick glass, analyzing everything and everyone, especially yourself, from a distance. While it's often easier to remain a step removed, shielded by logic, the hollowness of unexpressed emotions will still reverberate. The real beauty in living comes from stepping into the swirl of feeling, trusting you can weather it, and discovering that connection, love, and even heartbreak are richer and more transformative than any purely intellectual process. Consider that your aim in healing avoidant patterns might not be to discard your brilliant analytical mind. Your insights are valuable. The goal is to invite your emotions to join the conversation, without being bullied back into the shadows. Accept them, give them space, and witness how they enrich not only your relationships, but the grand tapestry of your inner life. As you venture forward, may you remember that intellectual brilliance never has to exclude emotional depth. They can coexist in the same symphony, each contributing a vital melody. And if you choose to embrace that harmony, perhaps you'll uncover a deeper sense of safety and belonging, for yourself and for those with whom you share your heart. Thank you for allowing me to walk alongside you on this path, and I trust you'll carry these ideas into the world, forging a more honest and embodied connection with your feelings along the way.
If you believe this video might help someone dear to you, share it with them. A small gesture on your part could mean the world to a friend in need.